I think before anything, my first love was definitely cars. But I'm a middle-aged dad with 2 young kids, and right now the sports car life is on hold. But is it over forever? Does that inner car geek just die when you become a parent? Let's find out. I'd love to just buy another sports car. But sports cars these days are expensive, and all my money seems to get burned on diapers and daycare and plastic toys. So if I want a sports car to reclaim my fading youth, I'm just gonna have to steal one. Doesn't look like anybody's home. Okay, I didn't steal this Corvette. I borrowed it without asking. But that doesn't mean I can't drive it like I stole it.
Jesus! It is insanely fast. If I had a car like this when I was a kid, I would be dead or in jail. And then when I got out of jail, I would die afterwards because I'd get my car back.
I gotta admit, I like this car.
It's fast. Woohoo! It's comfortable. It looks cool.
But even if I had the spare change to buy one of these, it's kind of an old man car. More likely to be driven by a guy like this, who just had to interrupt my filming to tell me all about his dying tree.
You can film that, the tree.
Oh yeah, look at that. Because when Grandpa was in high school, gas was cheap, and the cool kid on the block was probably driving a Corvette. When I was in high school, Corvettes were generally driven by creepy older dudes who would buy booze for underage kids and hit on teenage girls half their age. Nerdy car geeks like me had moved on to lusting over a totally different breed of car. That's what I need in my life to make me feel young again. And I knew just the guys who would have something for me that would be a little more age appropriate.
Hey, what's up? Come on in, man.
This is my buddy Peter. He's one half of the 2-man team that produces Speed Academy, a YouTube channel for wrench-turning, speed-loving 90s sports car geeks like myself. Peter and Dave constantly have project cars that they're in the process of building.
This is like what the rich hot girl's dad had.
Exactly.
In high school.
Yeah, yeah.
So that one doesn't work.
Well, this one does work, but it is
doesn't work, but doesn't move.
It is not insured.
Okay, that's
for the road.
Now, well, Pete has more of a love for leaky old BMWs.
This car actually runs and drives. It just has a bit of a leak.
Yeah.
So, you know, typical BMW.
Dave has left me something to drive that holds a special place in my heart, and I think it might be able to transport me to a simpler time in my life when all I wanted to do was rip around in my car. This is an Acura Integra Type R. Sold in North America from about 97 to 2001. It might not look like much by today's standards. It's pretty basic, it doesn't have a lot of power or features, but it was revolutionary in its time.
I knew a guy that worked in an Acura dealership, and they had to literally pack these cars in, like block them in from all angles at night because they were such hot targets for getting stolen.
What the thieves and everyone else wanted was its engine. Thanks to the trickle-down of Honda's Formula One technology, this car's teeny little 1.8-liter engine made more horsepower per liter than Porsches and Ferraris of the same era. And it's based on an economy car. It was relatively cheap, it didn't suck huge amounts of gas, and you could almost argue that it was practical. It beats filling up a Corvette, that's for sure. But by the time I could afford to and actually bought one myself, I was already getting to the end of the stage of my life where I just wanted pure, raw driving enjoyment at the expense of everything else.
I know why I sold this car. It's a kid's car. It's like too uncomfortable, too loud. It's like an old girlfriend. You remember why you were attracted to them in the first place, but at the same time, you remember exactly why you broke up.
I barely got a chance to have a bit of fun in it before I was reminded again of how little time I have these days for stuff like this.
Oh, me. There it is. The giant freight train. I'm like so close to driving this car. If this isn't a metaphor for life, I don't know what is.
I was able to get 2 fun turns in before I had to return the car and all the GoPro cameras to Peter. It was a bit of a bittersweet reunion with a car that used to mean so much to me. Between his kids, who are the same age as mine, and all the work that goes into producing their YouTube channel, I even got the sense that Peter doesn't really get a lot of time to drive all those cars.
This is the glorious life of YouTube.
Like
Sweating
fighting
at
a cocking gun at 8 o'clock at night.
Trying to, you know, do your father-in-law a favor. And
This looks like no fun at all.
it isn't.
All right, dude.
Yeah, man.
Enjoy your cock.
You bet it.
I'll see you later.
I really wanted to spend more
Good
time
luck.
there talking about cars and driving and just being around them, but the fact that I had made the time to squeeze this visit in was already a miracle.
I honestly don't have the time or any justifiable reason to go out and see those guys anytime soon. But see these teeny little memory cards? I had to borrow these from Peter because you need 57 GoPro cameras to shoot any car stuff. And I brought them home with me, and obviously I have to return them. If my kids ever watch this video, I want them to know that if you borrow something, you return it. Plus, while I'm there, I may as well drive another car.
This is a 1977 Toyota Celica, or Celica, depending on where you live. It's been modified into a road-going race car, and it's a nostalgic project belonging to my friend Dave Pratt, the other half of Speed Academy. Dave has always been a voice of wisdom in my automotive pursuits, and with older kids and a grayer beard, I figure he could make some sense of my current situation as a car enthusiast.
Where are your seatbelts, kids?
Seatbelts are, in the 1970s, seatbelts were
They
barely
were very
a thing.
optional, yeah. I couldn't remember what the story was behind why this car.
It's basically the fact that my grandma had one. And then, I don't know, 30 or whatever, how many years later, I was at the Tokyo Auto Salon, a car show in Japan with Peter.
Yeah.
And I saw one of these there that had been hot rodded. And then a buddy of mine in Arizona had this car sitting in his yard for about a decade. He never ended up doing anything with it. He got his wife pregnant and he's like, hey Dave, I know you like these, do you want the car? So I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And that's kind of how the whole story started.
Well, it's nice to hear that children rid him of his cool cars too.
Exactly.
I sold the S2000 and I sold the 911 basically right before my first kid was born.
Right. And I sold my race car back when I got my wife pregnant for the first time.
It's such a weird thing to have young kids, and it makes me like reevaluate the whole car thing. But then when I get in a car, I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
We talked about lots of stuff on our drive, but as a dad of a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, currently with 0 sports cars, I wanted to ask the guy with older kids and a whole rack of sports cars if I would ever be in a position to have fun cars in my life again.
Like, I don't know how I'm gonna get this back in some way, shape, or form. It just like feels like it's not possible.
When they're that young, it's definitely hard to fit that into your life. But you know, once they're both in school and they start to, you know, separate from you and your wife to some degree, want to live their own lives, you'll suddenly have that time back and you'll be able to play with cars again in whatever version of that might be in your life. But you know, it won't be the same as it was when you were a 25-year-old kid.
It was nice to hear some reassuring words from Dave that there would be a place for cars in my future. It was even nicer when he tossed me the keys to the Celica so I could take it for a rip. But as soon as I got going and tried to channel Dave's wisdom for myself,
I think I need Dave's special captain hat to complete this experience.
things went a little sideways. I got lost.
Now I don't know where I am. I don't have navigation. I don't have anything. Can't. Okay, I'm just not gonna look at my phone and hope that this is the right way to go.
Bouncing around, stuck in traffic, and was nearly killed by this idiot. Oh, holy shit.
That last guy, when I was coming back up, was like right across the center line. He would have toasted me.
Teeny tiny sports car life is definitely not in my immediate future. But it's nice to know that when I'm ready, the people and the cars will still be there.